They can hear me, and they can hear you.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Welcome, folks, to episode 208 of the JAC Show. Welcome, folks. I'm the gently beautiful and moronic hack.
And I'm your favorite VTuber, Jack.
And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have a things that I learned literally when I woke up this morning. I teased it a little bit to Jack before we started, so he has a vague idea of what I'm gonna be presenting, but he will be also learning about it just as you people will be. That will be coming up very soon. Other than that, actually, do want to start off with some. Actually, I have some little updates regards to for the games I've been playing. So just a straightforward update on the games I've been playing. So Jack, guess what?
What?
Over the past week that I mentioned that I was recovering from my injury. During that recovery period, I 100%ed Batman Arkham Knight.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yep, I got all the Riddler trophies.
Damn.
I did got all the trophies, did the riddles, did all the stuff, did all the side content, and then as soon as everything was good, I pressed circle to do the Nightfall thing, and Batman died, quote unquote. So yeah,
then you beat up the Riddler, right?
Yes, I beat up the Riddler in his Riddler mech. That's literally how you fight in a Riddler mech.
Yeah, it is very interesting that's your reward. Him in a mech.
While having to fight his robot goons, his color coordinated robot goons.
Oh yeah.
So, but I finally saw 100% that game, and I had a good time, and I even enjoyed doing the riddles. For like the last probably like 30 of them, I just straight up, you know what? I'm going online. I'm looking at where they are. I don't want to try to find them. I'm not gonna try to look for them on my own. It's like I don't got that time, so. And it's like oh my god, it's about to be a 10-year-old game, if not already. So I think people can forgive me for looking at where all the Riddler trophies are for a 10-year-old video game. And plus, that makes it now I've 100%ed 2 Batman Arkham games. I 100% Arkham City, now Arkham Knight. I only being the main campaign for Arkham Origins, I never 100% of that game. Mostly because by the time I was finished with it, I had my fill and I didn't want to put in the extra effort to 100% that game. So, hey, little Johnny, he calls you a wuss, Jack, obviously referring to you or whatever you did to him.
Damn.
So now that I'm finished with Batman Arkham Knight and I can put that away. I was already in the mood of, all right, I want to play my next game, for casual on my own time. And Jack, would you like to make a guess on what the next game I decided to play? I'll give you a hint. It is it is a recent-ish game, so nothing that's over 10 years old. Has a very popular character in it, and it's a game that has kind of a mixed reputation.
Oh. Recent-ish game.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed reputation.
Yeah. So let's say within the past 5 years. Johnny says the Fresh Prince of Feudal Japan. No, it's not the newest Assassin's Creed. First off, I don't have a PS5 or the Xbox Series X, and I don't even want to know if my current laptop can even run a modern day Ubisoft game. And plus, I haven't touched an Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed 4. So I am way out of the loop on that series.
I have no idea.
Well, the the answer actually then is I've now started playing after finishing Batman Arkham Knight. I've now started playing Sonic Frontiers. Did
Did that have mixed reviews?
So I think if you look at the Metacritic, it's mostly positive, but you know Sonic fans. If there's a slight change variation to how Sonic jumps, there is a 3-hour video essay about it.
True.
And I only say mixed reception because when that game came out, I really was kind of that's what was the on the surface, that was the impression I was getting. There were people who were liking Sonic Breath of the Wild, and there was people who really did not like Sonic Breath of the Wild. Right now, I'm in the camp of I don't know how to feel about this game. Good Jack. Gun to my head. Gun to my head. If you ask me, do I like this game? My answer honestly would be, I think so. So yeah. So I don't want to get too lost in the weeds, but here's a general idea of it. Well, first off, have you touched Sonic Frontiers at all?
No, I was actually just about to ask. I assume it's still like open world, right?
Okay, so yeah, so this is the first ever Sonic open world game. Not not like Adventure One where there's like a hub world or Sonic Unleashed. Not like that. It's an open world Sonic game where you run around a huge island, but it's kind of sectioned off to different regions of the island. So you got like 4 or 5 regions of the island you can travel around, and you basically do a bunch of collecting. Now, and the premise of the game is that Sonic, Tails, and Amy are flying to these islands because they notice that the Chaos Emeralds have appeared there, and there is some and Tails is on his doohickey saying, "Man, the energy spikes are off the charts, Sonic." Stuff like that. As soon as they arrive, some cataclysm happens. They all get separated, and Sonic ends up by himself, and he notices all these robots. Very neat looking robots that don't look like Eggman robots are roaming around the islands. Although I think they might be Eggman robots, but they don't have that Eggman aesthetic. And so the whole premise is you're trying to figure out what's going on in the island. And what this has to do with the Chaos Emeralds, the robots, and you also have to figure out why are your friends stuck in this is what they say it, your friends are stuck in cyberspace. Yep. So Sonic's goal is to uncover the secrets of the island and rescue his friends from a digital world that purposefully from the beginning of the game you don't really know what it is about, but there's cutscenes that happen after a certain progression of the game where you learn that number one, Dr. Eggman is stuck in that digital world, and that's when you bring in the newest Sonic character, Sage, who is like a female AI being. She is the one who's pretty much trying to stop you in your goals. And you learn pretty early on that she is created by Eggman, and she sees Eggman as a literal father. So you have that going on, and her being an AI program, learning what it means to be human, or I guess in this case, an anthropomorphized being. This Eggman's the only human in these games. So that's the premise. Are you following along so far? Is everyone following along? Or is this Sonic we're talking about?
So far,
All
yeah.
right. Now that's the premise. So what's the actual game? So, all right. So the best. So a lot of the fans joke about that. This is Sonic trying to do its own Breath of the Wild, and in a lot of ways, it kind of is. So Jack, I want to get in your head Breath of the Wild and the way how that game functions and feels. Right? Everyone put that in your head, especially if you play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Now, imagine if Link can run 3 times as fast as his run 3 times as fast, and if you hold a button, you can make that 10 times as fast as you run over the open world. You have your enemies that are scattered around. You have things to collect that literally go into upgrading your skills. So there's literally a skill tree in a Sonic game. And Sonic actually has proper combos like combat. And it's like it's very weird that you're not just jumping on things, you actually have to like fight stuff with proper, like it's basic, you just keep pressing the attack button. But if you press combinations of buttons, you can cancel them to do specific moves and defense. You get what I mean? There is a little bit of strategy, not a lot, but a little bit. So you got a very intricate combat system. You're running around at the speed of sound, pardon the rhyme, and just like how in Breath of the Wild, if you do what are those called? If you do a shrine, if you complete a shrine, that acts as like an instant teleport for you to maneuver throughout the map, correct? Well, Sonic has something similar where you have these shrine challenges, which are very basic challenges. And if you complete them, you unlock more and more of the map. And what it also does is, because you already run fast, there's no need for a instant warping type of mechanic. But instead, you open up more ways to travel, and so the whole area becomes littered with rails, springs, all sorts of Sonic-esque platforming for you to get around the island as fast as possible. And there are a lot of moments where you're having to do a lot of platforming, and honestly, I do find it pretty fun of doing that aspect of you're wandering around. You're like, oh, there's a spring here. You go into a rail, then you grind across the island, then you go through all these hoops and ladders, and you end up on the other side of the island. Like, the actual traversing is fun, I will admit that. And now here's where the weird part is, how the game flows, because this is the one thing I'm trying to wrap my head around, is the actual, okay, here's what you actually do in the game. So the whole point is, you're in an area, there is a big robot you gotta defeat. It's called a Titan. In order to defeat a Titan, you need to collect all the Chaos Emeralds. To get the Chaos Emeralds, you need to unlock keys. In order to unlock, they're called gate keys. In order to unlock gate keys, you need to do these special you need to do these special levels in which, when you go to them, you transition from the open world part of the game into a more traditional Sonic game. At least a traditional one of like the Boost era. So you got your 3D levels and your 2D side-scrolling levels. Each of them are like, and they're all relatively short. Like, they're not few that maybe take you more than 3 minutes, but most of them you can finish them in like 90 seconds. And you have to do these challenges within these levels to get these gate keys. Now here's the thing though. if you want to, in order to do these levels, so you get the gate key, so you can use the gate keys to get the Chaos Emeralds, so you can have the Chaos Emeralds to fight the Titan. in order to do these levels, you have to let's see, you have to collect. What was it? I'm honestly trying to remember. Let's see, was it memory? No, not memory tokens. Memory tokens are something else. I'll bring them up later. Hello, Ghetto. Welcome to the show. I'm explaining how you play Sonic Frontiers. So, in order to play a traditional Sonic level, you have to find these levels scattered throughout the island. Once you them. That's right. There's no currency to activate them. So once you find one, you activate it, and then you can play them. So that's the game flow. You traverse all around the island looking for these levels. You do these levels, complete usually the 4 challenges in those levels to get the keys. One challenge equals 1 key, and you have to once you have enough keys, you can then go to get a Chaos Emerald, and then you repeat that 7 more times for the 7 emeralds, and then you can fight the boss, and then you clear that area, then you go to the next section of the island. And in the middle of all that, you're running around and platforming, and you're collecting memory tokens so you can actually do the more story focused aspects of the game, because all your friends are stuck in cyberspace. You see their digital bodies all around the island, and you think you just talk to them. No, you need to collect memory tokens to talk to them. How do you collect memory tokens? You collect them by literally exploring the island and just find as much as you can. And once you have a certain amount, you can then talk to your friends. Some of them are optional. Most of them are mandatory. So most of the game is you collecting memory tokens to talk to your friends, do a challenge, complete it, do the challenge, complete it as much as you can so you get the gate keys so you can get a Chaos Emerald, rinse and repeat. Johnny asks, is this as complicated as it sounds? No, it is not complicated, but it's one of those things where once you say it out loud what you're doing, you realize that a lot of the game is busy work. You're just collecting.
I feel like
you're collecting things so you can collect other things.
And that's I feel like that's like a big problem I have when it comes to like a lot of open world. Hell, even with one that I'm currently playing right now, like just now, No Man's Sky. It's the same aspect of like they need to find something for you to do, especially if it ends up becoming a open world survival, which if you think about it with open world survival games, it has that same kind of process for pretty much most games.
Correct. Yeah.
Let's go with Minecraft. It's just like if you want to get an axe, then you need to get some wood. But if you want to get wood, then you need to do this, and then you do this, and then you do this.
Yeah,
it's just little.
It's
steps.
the game. It's the game flow. Now here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
All of this sounds like I'm complaining, and I'm kind of am. And if this was any other open world game, it would not be enjoyable. Just the absurd amount of things you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
But funny enough, and I don't know if there's a popular opinion or if I'm in the minority, but the fact that you can run fast makes everything go by so much quicker. The fact that it literally all this open world nonsense is mitigated because you're Sonic.
I see what you mean, yeah.
And kudos to Sonic Team. They actually make it fun to traverse the island. And to me, that's the most enjoyment I'm getting a lot out of it, because in one part of my head I can see the flaws, I can see where it is a lot of busy work, but you get through that so fast because I'm literally like spraying all around, grinding on rails. The combat's pretty fun, and because you can defeat most enemies in like one hit. And there's multiple ones. It's just bam, 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 bam. All right, move, get my skill points onto the next thing. It's like the perfect game for people with ADHD.
I think it makes sense because like the one good thing about Sonic in general is just that he is a character that is fast, and compared to other open world games where it's like going from point A to point B, it's a slog for other characters, but for Sonic it's a lot of fun because you get to do a lot of Sonic things. You get to grind rails, beat robots, run through the try to see how fast you can run through the open world itself. I could see
Yep.
it.
And as well, this will be the final thing before we move on. Um, the last thing I'll give props to the game is that um, I really enjoy the game's aesthetics. I enjoy the music, the visual style it goes for. Mostly because
Mm-hmm.
they went out of their way to really do something different. Like Sonic Team didn't try to reiterate on something they'd done before. No, they went on a bold new direction. Some of it is undercooked or overcooked, depending on how you view it, or or whichever. But I can't deny that the game has its own unique look to it, and of course, uh, regardless of the quality of a Sonic game, you're always gonna have great music, and Sonic Frontiers is no exception. Cool thing is that in the open world they added, I think this was added post launch, but they added a jukebox mode. So if you don't want to hear the default music for the islands, you can literally turn on jukebox mode and listen to music from past Sonic games and either loop them up or just have them rotate in the playlist.
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
So it's so I feel like I will be playing it more because I haven't gone to a point where I feel like the game is becoming too much busy work and it's just too much to handle. Right now, it's at a good moderate amount, and I'm actually enjoying the process of getting Sonic stronger and faster. Which I do love the fact that if you reach the maximum amount of rings, oh my god, you are running so fast. The game has a hard time trying to load everything in, but it does it quick. I'll give the game that. You can outrun the game to the point where the island's trying hard to keep up with you, but it eventually catches up in less than a second. But it's funny when that happens.
I like to imagine it's that one girl trying to render everything, but she just can't.
His Sonic's too fast. He's too fast. Too fast for
He's gotten too
too
powerful.
fast for cyberspace. And also I do like the fact that they give Sonic uh some type of combat, and it's pretty cool to see him do these moves that he's literally never done in previous games, and there's no explanation of why he couldn't do it before. Like I kid you not, there is an attack where it's an air attack where he does a flurry of Chun Li type kicks, but he's not actually
Mm-hmm.
kicking. He's shooting these energy blasts with his kicks. And the cool thing is though, is that I love using that move because it does on its the kick on its own does a little amount of damage, but because he does so many kicks, your enemy itself just pretty much goes all the way down to their dead because he's kicking so fast. Oh, it's like his feet turn to machine guns. Same thing where he has another one where he literally throws these energy spheres out of nowhere. You can maybe argue is a Chaos Emerald doing that, but he can do that without a Chaos Emerald. So they just give Sonic these powers that he just happened to has now, and he never used them in the past because all he did was just jump on enemies.
If I'm correct, well, this is me, I guess, giving some type of explanation of why he's able to just throw those orbs around. Didn't sometime in like a comic they said something that Sonic can now pretty much do the same thing as like the Chaos Spears because he has now gained chaos energy within him compared to like how Shadow does.
You're probably not wrong. The only thing is, comic canon is its own thing. The games do not follow the comic canon.
That is
Yep.
true.
Which is for the best. It is for the best. Last night, because oh my gosh, you cannot satisfy Sonic fans at all. Anyways, yeah, so I'm playing Sonic Frontiers and the un and for the and this is a special message for the unlikely uh for the I was very unlikely that he will watch this because I know he does not watch this show. But I'll call it, but I can say it. Sorry, Ryanzo. I know you want me to play Dragon Quest 2, but hey, look, it's Sonic. What do you want? I want to run fast. Yes, I can play these classic RPGs, but I want to run fast right now. All right? Okay, good. Yeah, so that's a little gaming update. And also quickly, this is mostly for Ghetto since he's there in the chat. I'm almost done with Project Cross Zone. I am like 69 hours in. I'm at the final. I hope to God I'm on the final mission because I'm literally fighting the final boss, and it's just like I'm ready. I'm ready to end that game. I am not playing Project Cross Zone 2. I'm ready to be done with that. Good Lord, I'm ready to be done with it. I don't know what it says about me because according to how to beat the game should be finished about 60 hours. I'm at 69 hours. Giggity. So I don't know. I don't know if that says a lot about me or the way I play games. Probably. But my God, I'm ready to get that game over with because it's like I'm just ready. That's it. But I'm so far in. Like I don't want to quit. I'm not a quitter. I'm not a quitter, Mama. I ain't no quitter. I won't let this Japanese game beat me. All right. So that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Now it's time to talk to the thing I want to present. So now I have a feeling that some of our audience members may actually know what we're going to be talking about. But I was first learn about this literally just this morning after I woke up and I was getting ready for work. I saw a video of it and I was like, okay, I gotta see what the heck this is. So, first, I need to ask our lovely audience. And Jack asked this again, but I already asked you this, but I ask you again in front of the audience. Have you ever heard of something called the Brazilian Mega Man comic?
Nope.
I
Not a
I
clue.
thought so because I did not know about it either, and I am somewhat knowledgeable about Mega Man stuff. So I'm gonna put an image on the screen, Jack. I'm going to share you at least the cover for what was the first issue of this pseudo official Mega Man comic. And I say pseudo official. All right, so I'm sharing with you the sources. So this is just the cover, so you can get an idea what we're looking at here. And let me go and show our lovely audience what I'm looking at. This image. There. Probably should have done this earlier, but it's no biggie. I can get rid of the Hennessy. There we go. All right. So show the image on screen. So right now on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the cover for the first issue of the Brazilian Mega Man comic / manga. And Johnny, if you would like to provide some translations or anything to help us understand what we're looking at, although I think we can summarize what we're looking at here, that would be helpful. Johnny says that.
A Hero
Johnny says it
Awakens.
had nothing to do with it. Any relation to me is really coincidental. Of course not. Not all Brazilians are into Mega Man. So I believe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, Johnny. This translates to the new adventures of Mega Man. Are Desperta?
A Hero
Thank you.
Awakens.
So yes. Now I learned about this because there was the YouTube algorithm worked in my favor this morning, and it showed me a video by a YouTuber by the name of Neo Retro Pixels, who is Brazilian anime YouTuber from the looks of it, and he was talking about more sort of the history of this comic. Now I actually do want to watch that with you so that you guys can have like a basic understanding of what this is and how this came to be. So let me go ahead and get rid of this I just realized Mega Man has a very Sonic like face. And if you hadn't noticed, the woman in the back, that's his sister Roll. And
Oh.
and what I assume is armor of some kind. Oh man. So let me go to play up the video now. We won't watch the whole thing because it's a 22-minute video, and he does go in depth about how this comic came to be. Also,
much has been said about the Brazilian.
And if you have heard that on the live stream, he also does have a thick accent. So, again, English is not his first language. So, little patience is requested as he explains what the heck this comic series is and how it came to be. So, Jack, let me go and share you the video. We'll watch about like a first maybe one or two segments. Luckily, he does organize the video through sections, so we'll have a good place to stop. And there you go, Jack. I share you the video that we're gonna be watching here on the stream. And when you're ready, just let me know.
And
Johnny says, "Oh, let accent make it stop." Oh, don't be like that, Johnny. Don't be like that. All right, here we go. All right, playing the video in 3, 2, 1, play.
Much has been said about the Brazilian Mega Man comics, As Novas Aventuras de Mega Man. By now, most of you may know that it's lewd, violent, gory, and completely different from the source material, but little has been said on how this bizarre adaptation came to be and how a legal loophole made it possible. Released in '96, the new adventures of Mega Man could only happen in that very specific moment in time, and of course, it would only happen in Brazil, where a borderline legal publication and shady business practices would allow this to happen. Welcome to the jungle of 90s Brazilian publishing. With Saint Seiya's release in Brazil in '94, anime and Japanese media gained major attention, but despite anime's popularity, TV stations were only interested in ad revenue. Without official anime distributors pushing for it, manga had no clear way into the market. However, some people noticed there was a market for printed content about anime, and one of these magazines was Animax. It was published by Sérgio Peixoto and José Zero Roberto in the Magnum Publishing House. Launched in '96, it focused on anime and had a strong following. As weird as it sounds, Magnum Press was dedicated to a magazine about guns. There, they pledged the readers to draw their own comics and submit their work, all part of a larger plan where Mega Man eventually got into the picture, ready to be the very first manga published in Brazil. except for a detail in the license agreement through a local representative that would derail it forever. But before we dive deeper, how about giving this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel? Without
let's pause for a bit. Let's pause for a bit there.
All right.
So now one thing I do want to kind of correlate to manga and anime in the United States, especially as what he's about to be describe of how people in Brazil would acquire anime and manga, in that, and I assume this is probably a lot for many countries outside of Japan, but that a lot of this, the manga and anime industry that we know today, a lot of it had its birth in bootlegs and piracy. And it is no different from Brazil. It is no different from here in the United States. Heck, I can even assume it's probably not much different in Mexico. But that's how usually these things start, with people who learn about anime and manga from Japan, get interested into it, and they find ways, who knows how, through these bootleg VHS tapes, they bring it overseas, and either they sell them as is, and the people would watch them in the original Japanese language without knowing what the heck's going on, or some fans will take it upon themselves to actually provide fan subtitles for these bootleg tapes. And a lot of this stuff was popular around the convention circuit, especially in the United States, where anime really got its dedicated audience in your like Comic-Con type of places. Now, of course, I can only speak on how it worked on the American side of things. Our gentleman here we're watching, he will go into detail of how this comic came to be and what was the environment of Brazil during the 90s, of how it came to exist. But I'm just laying the groundwork of how, for people who are unaware, who watch this outside of our core audience, is that, you know, a lot of the anime and manga stuff that we take for granted for today, and especially the accessibility and professional translations, and all of it had its start in, there's a couple of diehard fans doing very hard and demanding work of bootlegging these tapes and somehow buying shipments of them from the coast of Japan and all around the world. So I just wanted to highlight that, just to show how far the non-Japanese anime and manga industry has grown since the 80s and 90s. All right, let's go ahead. I'm at 205, Jack.
All right. 206. Okay, wait.
All right. While I'm waiting, Johnny comments says some of said fans actually own TV stations, made it a point to legitimately bring them here, which is cool to hear. That's very cool to hear. That's probably how Tsunami came to be. All right. So resuming the video in 3, 2, 1, play.
In Brazil back in the 90s, Japanese media producers relied into Western local parties to capitalize on their properties. That's how Character, a Brazilian company, came into the picture as managers of Capcom's Mega Man cartoon and manga in Brazil. Peixoto and Zero jumped at the opportunity to get the manga publishing rights through Character. The license asked for royalty payments to reprint the existing manga, pretty standard, but it also gave them the freedom to publish their own material to help promote Mega Man, which gave them a different idea. And there you have it. With this legal loophole, a borderline legal Mega Man comic book was born, something that Peixoto himself would chronicle later as a curious anecdote, which he wasn't wrong, by the way. The editorial in the first issue, written by Zero himself, claimed that he watched the original TV show and thought it was so bad that he couldn't help but throw away the script and write something better. Intended to be a positive reinforcement on the choice made with the comics, this was downright perplexing, as the original script they proposed was far from good. It was way below average and not any better than the manga they ignored. In reality, as Peixoto would acknowledge years later, they had never played a Mega Man game, and they relied on a friend who did play the games to write the argument. This was implicit in the first editorial as well, where Zero mentioned that the game was about moving a cursor around the screen, which could give player tendinitis. Which cursor? Was Zero under the impression that Mega Man was a PC point-and-click game, or maybe he couldn't even get past the title screen? If that lack of knowledge seems suspicious, it's because it was. Peixoto and Zero were bluffing to an audience that didn't know any better. Sergio Peixoto and...
So, we'll stop there because after this, our presenter, he goes more in depth on the actual creators of the people behind the comic rather than the comic itself, which in itself is interesting, but this is what the kind of the basis of, as I want to kind of show. So you have a Mega Man manga made in Brazil, made by two people who never played a Mega Man game before and pretty much ignored any pre-existing material that came with Mega Man. Now trying to think at the time if there was a cartoon. I don't think there was a proper anime, but there was the Ruby Spears cartoon, which funny enough, Jack, that Mega Man cartoon is finding new popularity as that show is now being available to watch in Japan. So a bunch of Japanese Mega Man fans are being exposed to American Mega Man for the first time. And they are just memeing that show. They're loving and memeing that show, at least from what I could tell. So, and frankly, I don't really care to watch it. I'm more focused, of course, on the games and. So learning on this, Jack, do you have any immediate thoughts that come to your head about learning about this Brazilian Mega Man comic?
I mean, to me, it just feels like I just can't really describe it. It feels like something familiar to me.
Familiar.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I say familiar in the sense of like I say familiar like in the sense of like it's a story that is only really told in one country and then of course it's definitely not canon, but for others it could be considered canon.
I highly
I feel like I'm having another Kakume session like here. That's what I'm trying to get at. Remember Dragon Ball Kakume?
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Gotcha.
Like I'm having another flashback to Kakume.
Yeah,
right
except
but I can't really rag on the comic because of course I haven't read it.
Yeah, I can't rag on it either. I'm actually quite curious to read it just to see. I don't know. I don't think it's quote unquote lost media, but I wouldn't know where I would even find or read it. Let's just do a Google search, and even it might, I don't know, it might make for a good roast depending on how wacky and out there it is. So although based on like the opening description that the gentleman gave, it sounds like it sounds like they're really trying to edge up Mega Man. Which, I mean, that's what the Mega Man X games are there for. When your little blue robot boy doesn't have enough edge to it, except with sounds from the comic, it sounds more they want to edge it up in terms of the sex appeal and the gore, all that robot gore. And look and look at a
Ooh.
role. Even it's kind of funny. You look at a role in the comic and in the game, she's like this little kid sister. Oh man, it's just it's honestly it's kind of amazing just what happens when someone takes another idea, wipes away everything but the look, and like, all right, let's do our own thing. Because in this video, our in this video, later on in the section, they go on to talk about how the creative team added an original character. They added an OC into the comic that didn't catch on, and so she was around for like 2 or 3 issues, and then she disappeared. Now, one thing I want to mention, as far as extra information, which again, I recommend if you really want to go more behind the scenes of the comic, if you want to go more behind the scenes of what was going on and all the stuff surrounding it. Again, this video is from Neo Retro Pixels. He has wow, look at that, a humble channel, 327 subscribers. You know what? For him information, he gets a like from me. There you go. Support him. Maybe I should even comment. Should I comment? Nah, I shouldn't. I should be quiet, like a woman. Anyways, so let me go back to the main scene here. That could be something. A thing we could get us as no sub. I mean, I haven't seen this other guy's videos. I don't know. This could be just a one and done. It takes more than one good video for me to sub to folks. Oh, I'll take a look.
He has high standards, people.
From the looks of it, his 3 most popular videos are all about the weirdness of Brazil. like here, like all the other ones are just like regular, honestly, just kind of regular gaming videos. But the ones that are specifically about Brazil are in the thousands. You got the Mega Man one. He goes Brazil's NES knockoff revolution. That's at 3.5K. Tech Toys Brazil's weird obsession with Sega. That's at 3.8K. So you know what? I'm actually getting. So you know what? I'll subscribe to him, and it's also a relatively new channel. So you know what? I'm sure you could appreciate all the support. So
I feel like most of the people that are watching his content are people from Brazil.
Yeah.
Because like whenever there's an interesting thing about the internet where I don't know if it's just like if it's going down now, but like back then I remember you can tell when someone was Brazilian because they would be going in chat going BR 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 BR. And you would be thinking to yourself, like, why is he saying BR? Like, oh, BR because Brazil.
Oh man. Ghetto Ass does a video on the Zebo. No, but but maybe you leave a comment on one of his videos and ask him to talk about it. He might. Who knows? You know. He's small enough that he can read those comments. He's able to read all of them. So guys, I still have the corpse of my old Tech Toy Master System 3. Oh man, so yeah, I'm glad I'm glad the internet has introduced us to Mr. Neo Retro Pixels. I gotta actually learn what he actually names go by because Neo Retro Pixels is a mouthful. Yeah, says boss man. Anyone speaking Portuguese? No way. He had to be Pacific. We don't want to ban the people from Portugal, or do we? Johnny, how should we feel about the people from Portugal, from a Brazilian's perspective?
Tell me, how do I need to feel? How do I need to feel?
I know. I feel indifferent with the Spanish, those Spaniards. I will never do the lisp. You'll never get me to lisp. Gallo doubles down. He says, anyone speaking Portuguese. Johnny says, Portugal is no more. That is now the Brazilian Guiana. Oh, that's funny. So I just want to introduce that. And you know what? Of entertainment value and kind of the craziness of the Mega Man comic, that could be a future video thing. Who knows? Maybe we can do a live reading of like an English translation. But I won't make any promises because I gotta read it and see for myself. Because the worst thing it could be is that it will be boring. That's the worst case scenario. And all the fun stuff like comes later on. We're like, I don't want to read 10 issues before Mega Man loses his virginity. If robots can have virginities, that's a question for sci-fi writers to answer.
Do they have USB-C ports or USB ports?
Which is more slutty, the USB-C or USB-B?
And then do we have the female connector or the male connector?
And where do the SD cards chime in? Or any type of extended memory?
That if we take off like a hard drive or a SSD, we're just lobotomizing them. Well, it's okay, Mega Man. You don't need this one. But that's where my boot sector's at. Not anymore.
That's a USB-C. This guy's stupid. Wait, hold on. Let's see. Oh, look at that! Our lovely friends at the Internet Archive has the first issue available to read in Portuguese.
Yeah, we can crack it. We can translate it.
Yeah. With your Spanish and my butchered Spanish, we can solve the Portuguese language.
Exactly.
Alegria. Oh, I'm lost. I don't know what that means. Oh no. Oh no. I can't feel overjoyous now.
No, they're talking about the company Allegra. I knew it.
Well, you know what? At least has the original language. I'm gonna have to look for a English translation somewhere. Oh man, but there you go. Maybe that's something that you could use, Johnny. You know, as inspiration. Read it as inspiration. The next Mega Man. Oh man. How do I ban the host? That's the neat part. You can't. You can always close the stream. That's the next best thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh. On to the next thing. I have I'm trying to remember here. So I have been keeping up with a bunch of comics I've been reading, but I'm going to mention a few things. Number one, I now own 2 interesting crossover comics that have released within this past month. So, Jack, you may be aware of one of them since people spoiled it as soon as the comic was released. But today at my mailbox, I finally have the first issue of DC Cross Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's right. I was like I'm trying to like look in my mind.
Your mind palace.
What instance did I see that? Like, what instance did I see that? And I thought that was someone that I thought they drew that.
I mean,
like a
nope,
fan art.
It's official, baby. It's official. Yep, and the funniest part, the reaction is all the power scalar people are mad.
You look like you lost someone. How'd you know?
Yeah, and it's all because between Sonic and the Flash, which I heard what happened, but I want to read it for myself to see what actually happens. But yes, I finally got the Sonic DC crossover comic, which is not gonna be just a single issue. It's a 5-issue miniseries, so we're gonna see more DC Sonic the Hedgehog goodness within the next 4 months. Yeah, there you go. And I'm gonna be right there reading it. A comic that I didn't know I needed till now. Although personally, if it was up to me, Jack, I wouldn't cross over with with DC with Sonic. I would personally deal with the X-Men, but that's just me.
Yeah, I could see that being a little bit more
Guys,
fun. To be
they
honest.
got nothing on Speedy Gonzalez or Michigan J, bro. What about Mighty Mouse? How come no one puts Mighty Mouse in the picture? Everyone always forget about Mighty Mouse. You call yourself cartoon fans, posers. Talk about Mighty Mouse. No, on a less more hype crossover, there was another crossover comic that did release a few weeks ago that no one's talking about. So now out of this, and so Jack, there is another crossover going on right now of Ninja Proportion, and that's right, you guessed it. Currently there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cross Naruto comic.
Oh,
the turtles are about to you'll believe it. and from the looks of it, they purposely decided to go with the Team 7 Naruto. So not older Shippuden Boruto Naruto, like Naruto how everyone was introduced to him. So they're using that version of the character along with, I think, Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi. Geta also mentions that the Avengers has a crossover with Ultraman that just ended. In fairness, there's been like several on and off again Ultraman comics for the past few years, so that's kind of lost its flair. But within Marvel is hyping up for the summer, Jack. A whole bunch of Marvel characters are going to be crossing over with Godzilla. So right now they have 3 series in the works: Godzilla versus Spider-Man, Godzilla versus the Avengers, and Godzilla versus the Hulk.
I feel like the Hulk would win against Godzilla somehow.
I say
depends on which Hulk.
I'll say it will be a stalemate. They shake hands in the end. they respect each other's rage. But I'm sure those will be fun. And hopefully I can catch them before they're snatched up and all of that. And Marvel's Ultraman is mad boring. That, you know what? Oh man, I wish I could read more to disagree, but I read that an initial Ultraman series that Marvel did a few years ago to like properly introduce the character within the Marvel comics, and honestly, I just lost interest, and I blame the way how they say the story, because eventually I actually saw the original show, Ultraman show, and even though it's a very it's a show that in many ways is dated because of the limited technology that a TV show about monster fights had at the time in the 60s. It was still rather entertaining, and the characters, or at least have personalities to them. I couldn't tell you what kind of characters they were. You were in the few comics I read of the Marvel Ultraman stuff. So just stick to watching the TV shows. There's no reason to read those books, as far as I'm concerned. Johnny's asked the hell Spider-Man's gonna do with Godzilla. Obviously, they're gonna team up and 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 stop the Sinister Six. Well, I don't know. They'll figure out something. The writers will figure out something. They're not gonna fight, and if they do fight, not Sonic. Spidey would just punch Godzilla once, then go out, and then they'll do something else. If anything,
I'm out of here. That's not my problem anymore.
actually, I could see Spider-Man saying that. Godzilla attacks this side of town and is like, damn it, where's the Avengers when you need them? This is not my job.
This is above my pay
And I don't get
grade.
paid at all. Well, Marvel hire us. We know how to write Spider-Man. Well, at least better than what's going on right now.
No, we gotta constantly remind everyone how we hate Spider-Man and make him miserable.
he can't get married. You know what's funny? There's a tangent because the editors at the Spider-Man comics they pretty much statement that they have no plans to ever have Peter and MJ marry, and they're gonna enforce that rule as long as they are in charge. And you know what? Fine. If you don't want to make Peter and MJ married, fine. But could you at least give him another love interest that is just as good as MJ? And they tried. Trust me, Jack. They tried ever since Brand New Day, which was what 2006. I think that's when the basically Spider-Man had a soft reboot and they kind of started over after the whole marriage thing. They tried so hard to get Spider-Man new love interest, like every other year, growing Peter's harem, and none of them stuck. Just none.
They just weren't the one.
No, they weren't the one, and they don't even try to make it the one. The best is it is just amazing how they're so stuck to their guns of how they want to keep up the status quo of Peter and not even try to at least make it good. That's just really just kind of thing that sucks for it. That like sure, if you want to make it the way you want it, fine. Just make it good and entertaining, and don't make it so that people have come to dislike reading these books. But no, they can't even do that. And yes, or as Christopher Rye loves to call him, Joey Quesadilla. Which is a shame because he's a great artist, and he helped Marvel succeed in the 2000s. But man, he really did not understand Spider-Man. Yeah, this is the best Spider-Man comic has him married with children. That is actually, I actually have an update on that. So, due to some changes in my financials for this quarter, like I'm a business, I had to make some cuts to the comics I'm reading on a monthly basis, and I pretty much have to kind of pause on the Ultimate Spider-Man. Not because I'm not liking what I'm reading, but mostly because I have too much of a backlog. My backlog of comics checks started becoming like my backlog of games, where it's like, it's like, and I can make it stop growing, but I can't because there's always something new. It's a kind of stop that and to actually read through the stuff. And plus, considering Ultimate Spider-Man, the way that the story is pacing, that's probably best to wait for like when they're made in volumes so you get the trades instead of getting it issue by issue. Because I like that series, but man, they take their time. They love to take your time. You love taking your time, Jack. You love taking your time. Well, you suck as a writer. Because it's going in real time. You know what I mean, Ghetto. I'm not talking about the gimmick of the comic. I'm talking about like the actual pacing of the writing. I know it's all in real time, but you know what I mean. just just because it's literally 1 month passes between each issue, does doesn't mean that the story has to progress like molasses. Just give us something. That's all I'm saying. But it's
Yeah, maybe like a villain of the day.
shit. I don't know when was the last time a comic did. The last time comics did that was before you and I were born. Yep. No. No. It's all about story arcs and setting up story arcs within story arcs. Story arcs. Story arcs.
The story narc. Are you a story narc?
That's not a bad name. So what kind of narc are you? I'm a story narc. I snitch on people who write bad stories and try to sell them on the streets. Like like those two Brazilians in the Mega Man comic. I put a stop to that.
We got a code Sue. A code Sue. Bring us the Mary Sue.
It's like false alarm. This was a stew. It's a pretty decent one. Sorry. Keep doing your work.
Doing what you do.
Yeah, keep writing that ecchi hair manga. Eventually, it will become a much bigger story down the line, and people will forget its ecchi roots.
Eventually.
Eventually. You will never see it in the anime, but you will eventually see it in the manga. I keep bringing. I'm sorry. I know I keep bringing up Isaiah Vampire, but only because I just find it so fascinating of where a story starts and how it eventually ends, especially when the start and end in two very different places. And it kind of makes you wonder. You ever wonder, Jack, what if in the back of your head, what if there's actually a porno with an amazing story, but the problem is that it's a porno? It's like great acting, great cinematography, like Oscar caliber, with the most in-depth character. But unfortunately, you have to go to that to watch it. You have to go to the shady part of town or the shady part of the internet.
Just have just like, you know what? I can't. No, I'll refrain from saying it. It'll be too graphic.
Oh man, Ghetto says, "Oh, that's good."
Just actually, I could censor it a little bit. Mid session, you just stop and you're like,
But
no, hold on, I'm invested. Why did she cheat on him with this type of person?
he goes, and what does the dad have to do with this? You get enraptured in the story. You get enraptured in the story, and because it's already a dirty degenerate story, they can actually do plot lines that follow that. Which, funny enough, I remember watching videos of comics that do kind of go that far. Well, actually, no, not kind of. They do go that far. The problem is that sometimes the artist and writer, who are usually the same person, they get too lost in the sauce. And so it ends up, in trying to be something coherent or have something to say in between all of them. Man, and it's like a story happened. I don't know what happened, but it was interesting. And I'm sure Ghetto right now in the comment, he's thinking up of like 20 or a dozen comics that fit that description. And one of them is definitely not Taro. Taro knows exactly what it is. And Jack, always beware of haunted vaginas. Always beware. Don't worry about it. You'll learn when you're older.
I'm scared.
Just make sure you say your prayers when it happens. Johnny says, he enjoyed his recent reading of Zyra Vampire very much. You know what? Skip the first 40 chapters starting from Caput 2. Oh man, you know what? I'm kind of interested. You know what? Not interested. I'm intrigued, almost only because of how much you are like, you are so enamored with it, and that makes me intrigued to want to see if there was maybe more under the surface. But I don't want to get to another Heaven's Lost property situation. I don't want to go through that again. Or a less perverted example, but still kinda in that realm. I don't want to go through another Kenichi example. You remember Kenichi, History's Mightiest Disciple?
Nope. Never heard of it.
It's a martial arts manga. It had an anime adaptation. I enjoyed it at the time for what it is. There is some ecchi elements into it, but that's not what it is fully. I ended up reading past where the anime stopped, and to this day I kind of regret it. Only because the story only because at a certain point the story felt like it was just kind of going in circles, and then it ended. And I really hate it when that happens, because pretty much the anime, which that was all just made to be a big promotional tool for the manga, that had a more satisfactory ending for the characters than the actual ending of the manga, and that makes me sad. Even though put it this way, like the actual how the characters end up is not bad. The problem is that the last few arcs leading up to it are like nothing arcs, and the main character, who has had a rival, two rivals in fact, since like the midpoint of, it's like a last minute rival who's basically, hey, I'm just like you, but I'm on the bad guy side. And I'm like, is that like, how is this like how is this good? How is this good? You just add in another rival character one arc before the story's gonna wrap up. Where something happened behind the scenes. I don't know. Oh my god. Hey, Miss Saren, glad you could stop by. You missed out a lot of the fun. So, I would recommend when this is over to rewatch what we're talking about earlier. You'll learn quite a lot. A lunch break at this hour, at this time of day, at this time of year, localized entirely within your kitchen.
Yes.
Can I see it?
No.
Hold on. Hold
I'm holding.
Hold it.
I'm holding.
Hold it. And there we go. I love it when the plan comes together. Oh, this is anecdote, Jack. I saw a new Simpsons clip of. I'm sure it's just a one-off joke, but I guess you could say it's a retcon. Do you remember? Like, what's his name? Ralph? No, not Ralph. Do you remember like the chubby smart kid from The Simpsons? He has like ginger hair, button-up shirt.
Oh yeah. Are you gonna talk about how he's actually a dude, like an actual?
Yeah.
Man?
I saw that recently, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Just comes into his house. Oh my god, the day I had.
That man has internally been in third grade for 30 years.
No
Martin, thank you. That's why his name, Martin. Yeah, I just thought, like, man, I just look at Martin Simpsons, and I'm not gonna be like those Simpsons fans who will be like, oh, the first 9 or 10 seasons, gold is great. I'm not gonna be those people. I mean, they're not wrong, But at the same time, I'm gonna give Martin Simpsons this credit because the show has gone on for so long. They're just doing anything now, and because of that, it makes it kind of fun. Like, okay, what are you gonna do this time? What shenanigans? What joke? What revelation? Revelation 24:17. That was my Reverend Lovejoy. Laugh, damn you!
Hold on.
Boo! That was a good Reverend Lovejoy. You know it. Anyways, I just loving how Martin Simpsons, they just throw anything at the wall, and even if it doesn't stick, they're like, well, they did it because at this point they have done everything. I do hope though the show actually ends. Like at some point, I and I want it to end before any more of the cast members die, because that just will make me sad.
Yeah,
Because
we're certainly getting in that
oh
age
yeah,
now.
yeah. Heck, they
Sadly.
should have stopped as soon as the actress for Marge, her voice has started to become way too hoarse, and it's become too noticeable. It's like stop. It's like stop for that woman's voice. Let her speak normal again. Don't have her on her deathbed just yell, "Help me, help me."
Just on her death. Last words.
Lisa.
Just pass out.
Oh my god, that's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. Gail comments, and I thought revealing Milhouse was inbred would be the killer, or fit Tony to fat Tony.
But Tony.
Tony. Dang it! Now I want a calzone. Want to get calzones? You ever had a calzone?
It's been, yeah, you know what?
Johnny, order us some calzones and fly it over from Brazil. I want some Brazilian Italian calzones.
You know what's
a
a small rant about my parents when it comes to
now,
calzones.
what can your parents have to do with calzones?
I order a calzone. I order I ordered the calzone, and they're giggling like school children, going, "Calzone. You want to eat a calzone?
Oh,
you want to eat underwear?" I'm like, "It's a calzone. It's Italian."
What? You know what? As annoying as it is, at least they have their inner child.
Yeah.
Giants, this is my if he does that, he'll get deported to El Salvador when he gets there. No, I'll accept your green card. You could be part of the JAC Show International. Or like the Justice League International, except with less funding and with but with more guarantees that you'll live. But you have to bring fire over or ice, one of those two, preferably fire. Everyone likes fire.
Yay!
Fire. And you know what? I think I've reached a good endpoint, because now my mind is woozing off into that section between alive and asleep.
Mine is wondering
A
what I'm
calzone.
not gonna eat.
Eat your underwear. Like what? Well, help me jog my memory. Was there what show or movie was it that someone ate their own underwear?
I don't remember anything like that.
I can see it vividly in my head. A guy is like biting, like he grabs his boxers with his teeth and he's pulling it out from his pants. I don't know if this is a children's show. Or maybe I made this up. I watched I have consumed too much media for today. No, it was live action. It wasn't South Park. It wasn't animated. It was live action. I know that for certain. I don't remember where it is. I don't know what I'm talking about, Johnny. You know what? Because of that, it's probably a good thing to wrap things up. Jack, what do you got? What do you got? Anything to share to the next episode of the Hack Jack Show?
Uh, Wednesday, I will make sure I stream at a. Oh
Can
wait,
you?
can I? Well, I will try to the stream at a reasonable time because I forgot I got a few errands to run. My my car decided to give me a little indicator that not the light, but just like you know how there's smart cars that have messages. Mine decided to give me a oil change needed. I'm like, so I'm gonna
Ah,
have to
that
do that. So I'll still try to stream at a reasonable time on Wednesday.
stream you get an oil change. You'll get tens of views.
Yeah.
Telling you, are you using the right oil? Don't forget the gasket. Don't forget the gasket. It's only 10 cents. Get the gasket.
Nah. I spent my money on the blinker fluid.
All right. As far as my end, I do want to say, unfortunately, I could not progress the Saint Seiya project at all. I slightly mentioned this, but I'll say more vividly. I was pretty much unable to work this past week due to a foot injury that thankfully has been resolved, and I'm now basically back to normal. So now with that, and I'm not have to deal with constant pain on part of my body, I can now focus on finishing that up. And we are also will be fingers crossed that we will be doing next Monday, which an idea of what I'm talking about, because we're going to do another watch along stream. Now, of course, we have the ones you've done in the past have with mixed results. You know, everyone here mostly remembers the hood of the dead incident, and as well, we experimented with the Velocipaster timed exclusive episode. But this time, I've made sure that not only will you'll be able to enjoy our commentary in the watch along with the movie that we picked, but it will be a movie that everyone will have access to. Everyone will have access to. So regardless of where you live, you'll be able to watch it with us along with the stream, and it will be a it will be it will be a movie you will never forget. And last but not least, like you get them. For those interested, there's going to be another Fatal Fury Seal of the Wolves beta this week, starting actually on Wednesday. So, so there you go. For hopefully, this second beta will be the one to convince everyone to play the game, since the first beta had mixed results. All right, enough of that. Thank you very much for watching, and this is Hack and Jack. Sign off.
Have a good night, everyone.